friends, and welcome. So last week and this week I'm bringing it in again, we did add a pose for a big section of class, and people have really been enjoying that and requested it for a little videos. So the longer classes this week will have that in it that I'm filming, and then this here's the shorter version. But let's take just a couple of moments, a few breaths, beginning awareness in Tadasana. So still the same idea of taking a few moments, closing or mostly closing the eyes, pratyahara, it's the withdrawal of senses, we're turning everything inward, and just checking in. We have the opportunity to observe without judgment, or at least to practice doing that. And then go ahead and open those eyes. And let's go ahead and step our feet just a little wider than hip distance. I want to open a few joints before we do too much standing stuff here. So we're going to play what I just call bebop and the hips back and forth. Evidently everything is play. Go ahead, wouldn't that be a better world? Right, go ahead and let your hips move back and forth, right to left. And then let your hips move a little forward, a little bit back, nothing too major. Be careful of the low back, S1, L5 juncture, right? And then start to move it in a circle. My friends who hyperextend joints, have a slight bend in your knees. Other direction with the circle. And then moving into a figure eight, and if you can't figure the figure eight out, just move the hips around and let them be very fluid. And go ahead and go the other way with your figure eight. And come on back to center. Bring the feet either hip distance if balance is an issue, closer together if that's available. Bend your knees, you're gonna put your hands right above your kneecaps. And go ahead and just bend the knees a little forward and a little back. And I like to say this might be where you stay, depends on your joints, but if it's okay to go a little to the right, forward, to the left, and back, don't lock the knees out, right? But just draw a little circle parallel to the floor. And then go ahead and go the opposite direction. And come back to center. And let's just go ahead and either come up onto a tippy toe or lift the leg and circle the foot. If your tippy toe's down, you would just go ahead and move your heel in a circle, and it's still going to open up your ankle joint just fine, right? Other direction. Set that down, and again, same thing on the other side. And remembering this side can be different than the first. Go ahead and go the other direction and set that down. Let's interlace our hands behind our back. If that's not available, interlock thumbs, or you could just simply have the arms reach towards each other, palms reach towards each other, right? Then the elbows, all of us, push into the sacrum, open the chest, move the elbows closer together with the bent elbows, right? And once you've got that going on, maybe, you reach the knuckles down or not. Maybe you bend the knees. And maybe you do a little forward fold here. So all of these things are optional, right? Knuckles or the hands might come off of the low back a little or a lot, just depends on your shoulder girdle. Keep the shoulders lifting up towards the sky. Soften the neck, crown of the head softens towards the ground. Reach the knuckles back to bring the body up. Come on up, let's take those shoulder blades through a few rotations. Evidently I'm out of breath. Go ahead and go the other way. And let's go ahead and start moving into some of those standing poses and play. So you're going to want to face the long edge of your mat for pretty much the rest of class. Go ahead and step the feet out wide. And then we're going to turn to the right first. Left toes in, heel back, whole right leg out. That business, right? But we'll be doing all of that without me breaking that part of it down. Those of you who've been with me for a while, you know this stuff pretty well, right? Hands on the hips. Inhale, exhale, bend the right knee. We'll hold in a moment. Inhale and straighten. Exhale, bend right knee. Inhale, straighten. So here's that external rotation of the femur bone, right? We'll hold the fourth. Come on down first. land it. Kind of check in with all the bits and pieces and parts and see if you can't find a solid, stable, right? And also sense of ease in the middle of working. Lift those arms up if it feels appropriate. And as I've been saying all week, any variation, right? Maybe the palms are up, the elbows a little bit bent, and that gives you a little freedom in your upper back. Like what feels the most beneficial. And if it's hands on the hips, awesome. Imagine I put a hand in your left hip crease at the bottom of your bikini brief where you're wearing them, and I push that a little bit in and forward. I see a lot of people throw their shoulder back to try to make that happen. That's not moving from the pelvis, that's moving from the low back. Move from your pelvis and keep the spine growing up tall like a stem of a flower shooting straight up, right? We've been talking a little bit about gaze, where's the head? I don't know, how's your neck doing today? What would your neck like, right? And then the position of my head can be totally different than my gaze coming out of my eyes. If I've been feeling a lot of anxiety or energy really high up, right, anything like that, I might look down to ground me a little bit more. Maybe looking at the horizon feels like a nice, steady, even keel for me, and this depends on the day for me. I do change my gaze depending on the day. And maybe I am like all heavy kapha down in the earth and I'm having the hardest time getting motivated, I'm depressed, any of these things. I might look up above my horizon and breathe. Okay, straighten the legs, hands on the hips, turn the toes forward. All of that is to say, all of these things affect us and we can change and play and experiment to find the ones that feel the best right now. Right toes in, heel back, pull left leg out. Hands on hips initially, inhale. Exhale, bend left knee. Just checking in the pelvis. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, finding some fluidity. Inhale, but those feet are grounding down. Exhaling in. One of the reasons I love standing poses is how grounding they are. And with this busy, anxiety-ridden mind, I need grounding a lot. Come into fourth one and stay. Check into all the bits and pieces and parts that you can think of. It's not about being perfect. It's not about it has to be this way. It's about feeling like your body feels supported, strong, calm, alert and calm at the same time, right? But also with a sense of ease. Maybe the arms come up, right? Play with that position, what feels best right now. Head, you could look back at the right hand. I sometimes teach it that way. You could look forward, you could look the same direction as your chest. You could look out over the left hand. And then you can play with the gaze. And like I've been mentioning, I've had, a decent amount of it depends on the day, anxiety and worry and all that kind of stuff. Some of that I think is environment. And some of that is where I am in my life right now with my mom and all the things. Looking down's been really useful for me to stay grounded and my energy staying out of that whirlwind up above my head. But on the days that I'm really depressed, I look up. Not sure, look straight out. Pardon my talking, it's diverting me from you staying here forever. Go ahead and put your hands on the hips, straighten the legs, turn the toes forward. That was Warrior 2 if you don't know. If you don't know, now you know. Turn the left toes in, heel back, pull right leg out. Inhale the arms up and exhale. Still any variation of arms, hands, gaze, all of the things. Here's Warrior 2. Take a second to solidify, I'll call it, or stabilize might be better. And then here's the adipose. Reach the left hand down, reach the right arm up, and here we are in reverse warrior. And even in my teaching, I'll often do it. The gaze is here, the da 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 da. You can play with not only the position of the head, right, to find the place that feels like it's the most beneficial for what you got going on today, but then once my head's in place, I can play with my gaze as well. These poses are not meant to be done only one way. They're meant to help us find the tools we need for health and well-being. Inhale into Warrior 2. And straighten the legs, hands on the hips, toes forward. I think when we get into that prescriptive place of this is what it must be, this is how it is for everyone, this is what it looks like, that's when it's not as beneficial as it could be, right? Turn the right toes in, heel back, whole left leg out. That's my discovery in my practice anyway. Inhale the arms out, exhale into warrior two. Take a moment here, solidify, stabilize, right, solid foundation. Bring the right hand down, left arm up, and then once you get there, consider, instead of just going like, this is where it's supposed to be, because this is what the teachers have said for forever, and this is how I saw it in Yoga Journal magazine, and all the places. Like, let go of that for a hot second and explore, experiment, and just kind of play with your positioning, where your gaze is, your head, your shoulders, anything really, right? Don't get crazy and do it fast. Be safe with transitions and movement. And then your body, I don't know, if you listen, I think your body's really wise to be like, ooh, yeah. Inhale, warrior two. Straighten your legs. Hands on the hips, toes forward. We're going to keep going with this. We'll take a leg break after the next one. Go ahead and turn your left toes in, heel back, whole right leg out. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, warrior two. Take a full inhale here. Stabilize. Exhale, transition into reverse warrior. We've already been here. We know this pose. Whatever's feeling like your modification, your variation, I should say. And here we go, new pose, add a pose. Reach forward to bring your forearm down, right forearm on your leg. Left hand on the hip. Left arm can reach over. It can swing forward to come over. Please, please find the way not only in that suits you today, but also the place that is like, yep, this is beneficial for my body. I can look down when I have a lot of neck tension. That tends to feel the best in my body. When I look forward, I'm not really, I'm kind of in a middle land, right, is how I think about it. And I'm still working my neck, but not as intensely. Looking up, that can be a lot of work on the neck, and sometimes I like that challenge. And it feels good, and sometimes, like now since I've got so much neck tension and shoulder tension, right? And then you can play with the gaze too. What happens if you cast the eyes down in your sockets? When you look straight out of them, when you look more up, right? Play. Just be willing to experiment and explore. Inhale up. I think I said explore. Explore. Hands on the hips. Turn the toes forward. Turning out to the left. Inhale. Exhale, warrior two. You got this. Take a full inhale there. Get solid and stable, but a sense of ease. Sthira Sukha Asana. Right hand down, reach the left arm up. And that's your exhale. Take a full inhale in the pose. And then use the exhale to transition into side angle. Your variation today. I have taught this, oh my God, in my 14 years of teaching, so many different ways and variations and modifications, and I don't think one is better than the other. I really don't. 24 years in, and I don't think that. I think that we each have a way that feels beneficial in the moment that we're doing it. Inhale, bring that into warrior two. Straighten the legs, hands on the hips, toes forward. I know I said we were going to come out, but I'm changing my mind. We're going to go right into the last bit, do a couple stretches, and then we'll be done. Turn your left toes in, right leg out. We're going to the right again. Inhale the arms out wide. Exhale, bending in, warrior two. Okay. Take a full inhale there. Exhale into reverse warrior. So you know this. Take an inhale. You've already been here. We broke it down. You can still explore and experiment. Exhale into side angle, whatever version you would like. Take a full inhale. Kind of get where I'm going, right? And here we go, we'll break down triangle. Reach your left fingertips up, straighten the right leg, fingertips on it. And instead of just going for the ankle or grabbing onto something, hug the hip in, that right hip forward into the socket. Let your left shoulder open, ribs roll back, right? And then maybe you slide down a little bit, but maybe you don't. So the way I was taught is imagine you're between two panes of glass, right? And then again, looking down, forward, direction of the chest, and up. You can play with that. I'm gonna look down today. You can play with where the gaze is in your eyeballs, right? And does that change your experience in the pose? That's more energetic, playing more with the mind than the physical body almost, but they affect each other. Inhale into warrior two. And straighten the legs, hands on the hips, toes forward. Last one. Turn out to the left. Inhale, arms wide. Exhale, are you rushing through this? Slow your roll. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, let's transition into reverse warrior. You got that whole exhale, take your time. Take a full inhale once you arrive. Exhale, transition into side angle, your variation, your version today. Take a full inhale. And here we go, triangle. Reach your right fingertips up, straighten the left leg. And again, I encourage everyone, myself included, to start a touch higher. Hug the hip in, roll the ribs back. And once you keep that, solar plexus for a few of my friends, maybe you creep down in a little more. Maybe not. Any arm variation will do. And again, I'm gonna turn them down. I keep looking up out of habit, but it doesn't feel as nice on my neck as looking down today. And I'm not just making that up for your sake, right? Like, I literally look down on the days that I'm feeling really tense or scattered or anxious. Inhale into warrior two. And go ahead and straighten the legs, hands on the hips, toes forward. Toe heel in a little bit, you've been there for a long time. And then step in, Tadasana. Close or mostly close the eyes. And just take a couple of moments there. And then you can go ahead and open those eyes, step your feet a little wider than hip distance. We're just gonna do a couple of loosey-goosey things, I'll call them. So you can just go ahead and bend your knees a little bit and let your arms swing and move into a gentle twist. And you might even lift the opposite heel of the way you're swinging and let the rest of the body come into the twist if that feels good. And then slow down and eventually come to a stop. Your feet can stay there or come in. You're gonna go ahead and you're gonna reach your arms up, and it's the lymphatic shake, right? So just go ahead and every single bit of your body that you can think about, right? And it's silly, but it's so good for the body. And then go ahead and bring your arms down. You can keep the feet wide or you can step in, and this is just the last little ending awareness, as I call it. Noticing the effects of the past. I'm guessing it's been about 27 minutes on something like that. Breathe. Bring your hands together in front of your chest, inhale. And as you bow in, just taking a moment of gratitude, be grateful for at least one thing. Namaste, friends. May you feel grounded and stable and alert yet calm.